But Big Mike is the standard. Big Mike is the standard. And obviously, Jeff Jordan's got more state titles. But Big Mike Milkovich is the standard of wrestling.
He made Ohio wrestling.
He made Ohio wrestling. And this is what's awesome to me. I was talking to Rich Fremmel, and he said one of the craziest things ever to him was Barack Obama had to show up, and he dedicated and named the school, the middle school's Milkovich Middle School, right? Mm-hmm. It's after your dad.
Yes.
So, and Barack Obama came here to dedicate that school. I think that when we have something like that, like our United States president comes to your community and is at the dedication, I think that your dad's had some impact, don't you think?
Well, that lawsuit that he had, you asked about the lawsuit. That was all over a riot at Maple Heights.
What was the lawsuit? Give people some background on what the lawsuit was with Mike Milkovich Sr.
There was a wrestling match that happened between Menor and Maple Heights. And as usual, our dual meets, standing room only. You couldn't get any more people in the gymnasium.
And what year was it, Tom?
I don't remember.
70s or 80s?
70s.
70s, okay.
And anyways, they had put the two teams on the same side of the gym at Maple's gym, and they had a water cooler stand in between the teams. There was there this way and this way, and because there were so many people in the stands, we filled the place up, packed.
5,000 people, 4,000 people,
whatever it takes. I don't remember the exact number, but you couldn't get more tickets to get in there. But anyways, the match was heated, and so they had a wrestler from Menor that we had a kid named Kostelik, and Kostelik was undefeated and a tough kid who would have been probably the state champion that year, and he hit a move that was sort of hard on the Menor kid, and the Menor kid said he got hurt, so he lay down on the match, and so my father walked up into the center of the mat. This is the setup for the whole story, and he was sitting there with his hands folded like this, and he looking at the kid. And he heard the coach from Menor tell the kids, stay down, okay? Because that way they get 6 points, and Maple loses 6 points. So my father just went like this. Okay, he looked at the coach and the kid, take your 6 easy points. He turned it like that and walked back. Well, the kids on the bench got all excited, and one thing led to another. They started, one of the wrestlers from the Menor came over to Maple Heights, and they started like pushing each other, getting a fight. Well, after that happened, both stands emptied out on the mat, and they started fighting. There was a big riot, right? So what happened, the newspaper, the Willoughby News Herald, a guy named Dadium, came in, he wrote an article, and he said that Mike Milkovich incited a riot at Maple Heights. And he started the whole thing, right?
Which is libel. Correct?
Which is libel, yeah. I mean, my father didn't start any fight. That just happened. It happened. So his caption in the newspaper, they eliminated him from competing in the Ohio High School Athletic Association, the state championship. They banned Maple Heights. So my father took him to court, and it went through the court system, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court of Ohio, and my father won against the OHSAA, the Ohio High School Athletic Association. It was the first time any school had ever beaten the Ohio High School Athletic Association. And he got his team back into the state tournament. But the caption on the newspaper said, Milkovich wins with the big lie. So now Dadium prints out in his newspaper that my father's a liar, and he starts riots. I mean, how much can you take, you know? Yeah. My father prided himself in working with kids and programs. So they sued the Willoughby News Herald. But when you sue the Willoughby News Herald, you're suing all newspapers and all news media across the United States, because they're all connected. Your Washington Post, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, whatever. So they had all these lawyers get together, and my father went to sue them. They went through the Ohio Supreme Court. They threw it back into the appellate court. Then it went back up again through the Ohio Supreme Court 3 times, and then finally they pushed it on to the Supreme Court of the land.
SCOTUS.
At the SCOTUS, the United States Supreme Court. And so then my father went with his one lawyer against all this litany of lawyers that were for the newspapers and news media all over the country, against all those people, and he won a landmark decision, and it changed the law forever, that you cannot go into a newspaper and call somebody a liar or a rapist or a murderer unless you have facts. You can't do it by opinion. And that is studied to this day in all the law schools across the land.
What is it called? Milkovich versus...
Willoughby News Herald.
It's Milkovich? That is the landmark case.
That's all you do. Look in your Google.
I knew that, and I wanted to talk to you about it. I wasn't sure how, but it's a landmark case, and it's like, you look at, and that's a First Amendment issue.
And he didn't do it for money either. It wasn't. He didn't take them
from this house.
From this
Your
house.
dad did all this from this house we're sitting in right now.
You bet. That's why
amazing,
it's
man.
That's why it's so amazing. It is.
This house is
how a little wrestling coach from this little city of Maple Heights, which is only I don't know how many square miles it is, but it's a little town, went to the House of the United States Supreme Court and won a landmark decision.
When you look at that, obviously I saw you watching some news when I came in. I mean, our media it's completely off the rails. It's
they're either Democrat or Republican.
They're and it's not about it's spinning what's better for the person who they want to get elected, and it's really a mess, man.
It is a mess.
And obviously the smartphones, which I'm doing everything on right now, right? We're not consuming media like the boomers are, right? Because you're a baby boomer. We're not consuming media anymore that much on TV. We're doing it on the smartphone, right?
It's a shame, Zeb, because now we, the public, the citizens of the United States, we don't know who to believe. We don't know who's telling lies, who's telling the truth. And as far as these wars are concerned, this is more scary. The people of Ukraine, the people of China, the people of Russia, the people of the United States, we don't have any axe to grind against them personally.
Yeah.
It's the leaders of these countries,
it's the government,
that are going to be starting these wars, and who's got to fight them? Our kids.
Our kids, the United States of America,
and their kids.
And we're the world police, right? We do a lot of that. We do a lot of policing, but
it's a scary time. It's a scary time right now.
And what your dad's case, though, back to your dad's case, right? It really was a win for John Q. Public and I think the regular Joe Bag of Donuts, in my opinion.
Sure.
Right? I think it's a win for the little guy because these huge media platforms can just roll over people. They can deplatform you.
Sure.
They can just kick you off the platform.
Because somebody said something in the news.
Or a bot. Like, it's crazy because a bot will upload this to YouTube, right? A bot scans for keywords.
Yeah.
And if they don't like what you're saying, it just bans you.
Right.
Like us talking about this could make the videos not be able to be on YouTube. It would have to be edited out by the great Ryan Lang.
We better shut up.
Nah, I'm not into that.
I'm not scared of it.
But you get my point.
I'm not scared
and
of
if this one don't make it. That's fine. But my biggest thing is the truth. I like the truth. I think the truth is a thing we need to have out there more. And somebody obviously was trying to defame your dad's character. And luckily your dad took that stand because...
Well, we had plenty of people in those days, too, that you either loved Mike Milkovich or you hated him. And I can remember going out, my brother Dan and I, in the districts, and Dan had lost a match to a guy named Zakachenko. And we were walking back at Mayfield Gymnasium between the bleachers, and people were throwing their pop and their popcorn on us as we were going through the bleachers into the locker room. They were so excited and livid about us, And, of course, we want to run up in the stands and fight them, but we couldn't. My old man would have our tail end.
He'd be through the window again.
Yeah, because that was part of the greatness of it. It's okay that you hate that team because, it's okay that Cleveland hates Pittsburgh and football, and it's okay that Pittsburgh people dislike the Cleveland Brown fans. It's good for business.
Yeah.
And
Yankees, Boston, right?
Yankees, Boston, you got it, right? So that's just the way things are in sports, and that's the greatness of sports. You can be a fan for this team, and you go against a fan from the other team, and you can still be friends and neighbors, and you talk, and that's where the greatness lies. Getting the people stands. It goes back to in wrestling what I talked about, that we've always got to look after the fans, not the wrestlers and not the coaches. Look at the fans. Make it entertaining.
I mean, look at the Ohio State-Michigan game every year.
Every year?
Every year.
Why? Because of Woody Hayes and
Boschem.
who's that guy in Michigan?
Boschem.